Hey folks, today we're going to be making a quasar pin. Let me back the camera out here real quick, and we'll show you from my design book what that looks like. So the quasar is basically an inverted spool with an inverted serration in the middle. This one I planned out at 4 millimeters. I'm going to make one a little bit bigger. I'm actually shooting for a Schlage number 3 pin, which is about 5.33 millimeters. So yeah, I got my normal accoutrement here. I got my my Elmer's razor saw or X-Acto razor saw. I've got just a regular, flat shaped file and my triangle file, which should be all I need. Of course, I got a strip of sandpaper and my caliper already set up at 567 or micrometer. I just realized how unscientific I am that I don't know if that's actually called, yeah, okay, it is called a caliper. Which one's the micrometer? Oh well. Without further ado, let's get cutting. I'm going to start with measuring. Oops, sorry, bumped my head on the camera. Boom. Yeah, I'm going to start by scoring it, and then we're going to start cutting. Hope you enjoy. Get it in focus first, of course. Not a complete jerk. So we know that's the space we got to work in now. I'm going to try and get a little close on this, but you might not be able to hear me. We'll see if that works. I'll check it again. Let's start by making a serration right at where our line is. Again, we're going to cut to the outside of the line. And just kind of get it started and demark the whole thing. Now, we know we're going to be needing to cut basically a reverse spool, so it's going to be deep on the outsides, getting narrower in the middle. We're not going to worry about the center serration because that's going to be less than the radius of the rest of the pin. So let's cut the two end serrations that start the spool first. And you want to go a little bit deep with it. Remember, you can always fix it later if you haven't gone deep enough. You can always remove more. We're going to make one side a little longer. It's going to be above the shear line anyway, so it won't matter. Okay, so now we got to make the part that we're interested in here in the middle. And I'm just going to start it with my regular angled file. This file does not have serrations on one side, so I shouldn't start cutting into that, but I'm still going to be careful. Make sure you keep it at an angle. And kind of try and bring it about to the halfway point. Don't try and make it look pretty right now. We're just getting that initial shape in. We've still got to cut it down to the center. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side, but I got to flip the file around because this side is serrated. Try and adjust the focus a little bit here for you. I think this thing's going to work great. I'm having a hard time even keeping the file on it. Alright, so we got the center part pretty much where we want it, right? We know where we're going to be cutting it off. I want it real thin on this side. So now, let's just take let's start with the saw. And we're just going to kind of try and go down the angle. And just try and knock off some of this here down inside. We don't want to cut it too thin. And it's okay if it's got a straight part. Now I'm going to keep working on that side. Let's take our sandpaper and just kind of tuck the edge in there. Sand off that edge. Flip it around. Get the inside corner here. It doesn't need to be super sharp, but the sharper it is, the better performance you're going to get out of it. Okay, cool. That's one side. Let's go back, do the other. Same deal. We're just going to try and cut here down to I find if you hold the saw at a slight angle, you can take off less material from a single spot and just kind of work it down. Tighten up this edge. Okay, getting a little low. So let's do this. Let's finish it with the sandpaper here. Again, I'm just using 500 grit. We're not trying to get an awesome polish on it. We want it to look good, but it doesn't need to be perfect. The smoother it is, the easier it'll be to pick anyway, so. Alright. I don't want to make that any thinner. Really, so. I want that dimple gone now. That's about right. Alright, now we need to make the serration in the middle. So we're just going to come in and very gingerly, very lightly, we're going to cut just to the left of the center ridge. And then just to the right. Now I'm going to take my triangle needle file. I'm just going to kind of just bring the material out a little bit away from it. Make it so it's a little more ridged. We got some extra steps in there. That's alright. Happy little accidents. I may actually make this a new design. But you get an idea of some techniques for how you can make these. Do a quick sand. polish the top of it. This is the top part that's going up into the Bible, so the other side's the side that we want to look really good. And now we're just going to cut it off. Now we're going to take our stock out, we're going to put the pin back in backwards, and we're going to finish the other side of it. Sometimes it's a little bit harder with some of these pins to get them to sit still the right way. But I think, yeah, I think I got that. Okay, let's keep going. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off that little nub on the end so it doesn't screw up my sandpaper. Now we're just going to give it a quick polish on the end. We're going to round it. Kind of give it a little bit of a bevel. Not too much. We don't want it to be even, but we want it to be thin. Because the goal is to get this at the very end trapped underneath some counter milling. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we got. So I tried to make a quasar, and I ended up with something that I think actually looks cooler. It's kind of like this off-center shaped mushroom with some steps on the bottom. I'm going to make this into its own design. I will not call this one a quasar. I think I'm going to call this one Shockwave, because that's what it kind of looks like. It kind of looks like, you know, a shockwave going to the side there. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. I'm keeping this video, and I'm not going to re-record it to try and actually make a quasar yet. I'll make that a different video. Because I wanted to show you that sometimes you can take happy little accidents, you know, as Mr. Ross would say, and turn them into something actually kind of unique and kind of cool, you know. It's kind of like a little vase type deal, you know. Maybe you can give these to your mom for Mother's Day or something, you know. Or it's a grail. I don't know. At any rate, hope you enjoyed the video. Have yourself a good weekend.